Hello everyone, welcome back after fall break. I'm sort of out of pocket. I'm not actually here with you this week, so I'm doing this recording for all of my students here in person and for all of my students who are learning virtually at home. So give me a second, I'm going to switch over videos and we're going to be talking about subject matter. I have a really cool project for you this week. So let me switch computers around and we'll begin. Hello everyone. This week I'd like to talk to you about subject matter. We have learned about the elements of art, lines, shapes, textures, and forms. But today what I'd like to do is use the things we've learned before fall break and apply it to the new content. And our new content today is about subject matter. Subject matter is what your picture is about. For example, what do you call pictures that are about outside? So what do you call paintings about outside? Okay, yeah, they're called landscapes. Landscapes are pictures about the great outdoors. So if you see sky, if you see land, anything, a village or a forest, anything that's pertaining to outside, the subject is about outside, we call it landscapes. What do you call pictures of people? Yeah, portraits. Portraits are pictures of people. It could be of animals. There's also portraits of animals. If it's a group of people, we call that a group portrait. In the spring, they'll get your whole class together, and we'll call that a class portrait. But you had your portraits made using photography a week or so before we had fall break. So pictures of people are called portraits. Pictures of outside, landscapes. Pictures of people, portraits. What do you call paintings about objects on a table? So when an artist will gather objects, we set them all up on the table. What do we call that? Yeah, a painting about objects on the table is called still lifes. And I believe the name comes from the objects have to sit very, very, very still. And sometimes the objects could be flowers or plants or things that might be sort of living. So they've sort of picked up this name, still lifes. So objects sitting on a table, sitting very still, still lifes. Pictures of people, portraits. The pictures about outside, landscapes. So here's what I'd like to do. For the whole month of October, for each week in the month of October, since now we're back on a schedule, we're coming back. A lot of our students I'm seeing weekly now. I'd like for us to create a drawing for each subject matter. And so one week we're going to be focusing on landscapes and drawing landscapes. One week we're going to be focusing and drawing portraits. And hopefully maybe the week before Halloween or the week of Halloween, we're going to be drawing some still lifes. And so that's our plan. So this week, let's focus on landscapes. And so I got a few questions for you. We have a very famous painting that hopefully you're looking at, and it's called the Starry Night, and it's painted by a very famous artist called Vincent van Gogh. So let's say Vincent van Gogh gets up one morning and he says, you know what, I think I'm going to get up, I'm going to go out and I'm going to paint a landscape. And so he gets up, he grabs all of his supplies, he goes outside, and it's in the middle of winter. So what would the Starry Night look like if Vincent van Gogh painted this landscape in the middle of winter? What could we add or what would we see in this painting that would give us clues or signs that it was painted in the middle of winter? Now, since Mary, you guys have a sub with us, they can always pause the videos to take questions. And so if you want to do that, you can. Feel free to do so. But just be thinking of what would you see differently if this was painted in the middle of winter. I'm hoping you guys would said snow. We could have snow falling. We could have snow on the mountains. We could have snow on the rooftops. That would have been a huge sign or clue that this had been painted in the season of winter. Okay. Well, what if Vincent van Gogh got up one morning and decided to paint this in the middle of springtime? What could we do, or what would we see in the painting that would give us clues that this painting was actually, or this landscape was painted in the middle of spring. Again, if you want to pause the video to get class responses, you can. But what clues would you add, or we'd see, that would tell us it was spring? I'm hoping some of your answers would have been like the hills would have had green, fresh green grass, the trees could be budding and having new leaves on it, or flowers could have been blooming all over the mountains. Those were, and it could be, the sun could have been out instead of the moon. And so nice, pretty sunny spring clouds. That would have been nice to see. So those are all signs that if he would have painted this in the spring. So what if Vincent van Gogh gets up one morning and decides, you know what, I'm going to go outside and paint a landscape. But this time, it's in the middle of summer. What could we change? What clues would we see in the painting that would give you the idea that it was painted in the middle of the season of summer? I hope that you would have mentioned the sun. We could have changed the whole title of the painting. Instead of calling it the Starry Night, we could have called it the Sunny Day. The hills could have been green with grass. The trees could have been nice and green and flush. We could have seen people outside in maybe T-shirts or playing games that we would see in the summertime. Does anybody have an idea of when this actually was painted? What season? If you said fall, you would have been correct. Vincent van Gogh painted this in the late part of November, which November, it is fall, it's sort of late fall, but it had been definitely cooler temperatures, and that's why he painted it with lots of blue colors to give it that really cool feel. And with the season sort of changing from fall and getting ready for winter, he's painted the sky very, very windy. And so he painted all of this for a reason, to give you that fall feel. And so my thought is, what if I taught you guys how to draw a really, really cool fall landscape? But to do that, I'm going to require some help from our friend, the Art Hub for Kid guy, and Mr. Hub, and I think it's his daughter this time. So what I'd like for us to do is everybody get a sheet of light blue paper, and if you have a black crayon, or if you want to use a black marker, if you have one, if you borrow a black crayon or black marker from me today, make sure that you don't put it back in the same container. Make sure that we are able to clean it so that students in the next class, or students tomorrow, can actually create this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my blue paper and get set up real quick, and I'm going to show you sort of where I'd like for you to start on this, and then I'm going to switch over to the Art Hub for Kids, and you and I are both going to be drawing. Now, you won't be able to see me draw because you're going to be watching Mr. Hub draw. And then after he gets finished drawing, then we're going to take what we learned from him, and then I'm going to teach you guys some extra stuff that you can add to your drawing to make it super, super, super cool. So go ahead and get your blue paper. Like I said, get a black crayon or a black marker from your supplies, or borrow one. And then if I go too fast, you can always pause this video to get everybody's materials situated. And then I'm going to show you where I'd like for you to start, and then we're going to switch over to the Art Hub for Kids. Okay, hopefully everybody got a large sheet of blue paper. You either have you can do this project with a black crayon if you got one of those, or if you borrow one of the Sharpies, I have one here. Now, this is a huge, ginormous sheet of paper. What I'd like for you to do is, when we start the Art Hub for Kids, his paper is actually half the size of what we're going to work on. And so my thought is, what if we start sort of here in the middle, and then we can draw this direction, and then we'll have all of this extra space to add our cool touches. So when I switch over to the video, to the Art Hub for Kids, let's sort of start in the center. And again, you're not going to be able to see me draw. We're going to be watching Mr. Hub draw with them. And then after he finishes, then we're going to come back to, I'm going to come back on and I'm going to give you some extra details to make this extra super cool. Okay, so hang on, I'm going to switch this to the Herb for Kids.
Hadley, what do you like to do in the fall?
Go on hayrides.
Go on hayrides? I like to go on hayrides too. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Today we're going to draw a hayride. We're going to draw a tractor too with some kids. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to keep this lesson nice and easy, nice and simple for young artists. We hope you're going to follow along with us. You got a marker and some paper. You ready to start?
Yeah.
First, we're going to start by drawing the ground. We're going to draw a straight line down here on the bottom of our paper. We just draw it horizontal. Mine's a little wobbly.
Wobbly. Floor is wobbly.
The floor is wobbly. It's bumpy.
Oh.
Good. Okay, now we're going to draw our wheels. And first, we're going to draw a big wheel for the back of our tractor. And we're going to draw it right in the middle. And we're going to draw it really big.
Whoa.
Big circle. Nice. Touch the ground. And back up. Perfect. Now we're going to draw a smaller wheel over here on the front for the front of our tractor. Good. Now we're going to draw two more of this same size back here for the trailer.
So it can hold the kids.
For the hayride, yeah. So we're going to draw 1 and 2.
Circles first.
Circles everywhere. There's 1, and then draw another one right up here. Good. Now, inside of these wheels, we're going to add some details. So let's draw the center of our big wheel first. Then let's draw the center of our front wheel and our 2 back wheels. Nice. Now, inside of this back wheel, let's draw a smaller circle, and we can draw 4 more even smaller circles around the wheel. Okay, now we're ready to draw the rest of our tractor. First, let's draw a curve that starts halfway down and ends halfway on the top. Does that make sense? So we start there and then end halfway up there.
Okay. There you go.
Good. Now we're going to draw another line right next to it, the exact same. This is for the cover that goes over the wheel.
Okay.
Then we're going to connect the ends.
Connect.
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 Okay, now let's draw the bottom of our tractor, and we're going to draw a straight line that comes across horizontal. Why do you think that's so funny?
This looks really funny.
Just wait, we'll finish it. Keep going, right here. Just come. You can come all the way across. That's perfect, just like that. Okay, now we're going to draw the front. So we're going to go up diagonal, and then we're going to curve back like this, and then stop before we get to the wheel. So we're going to come up, curve back, and end right about there. Yes, and then curve back,
And then
straight across.
Stop.
Yeah, good job. Now we're going to connect a diagonal line down to the wheel. Next, let's add the seat for our tractor. We're going to draw a rectangle shape. It's going to go up, over, and back down. So you can start right there, up, over, and back down.
Over. Back down.
Yes. Now let's draw the exhaust for our tractor. We can draw another rectangle, comes up, over, back down. Now let's draw an even smaller or skinnier one on top of that. Look at that. Is that cool?
Yes.
Next, we can draw the headlight for our tractor. Let's draw a straight line down, and then a backwards C shape.
Looks like a D.
Yeah, it does look like a D. And then we can also put another line straight down. Next, let's draw a stripe on our tractor. We're going to draw 2 horizontal lines coming back from the light.
Okay.
And then on the front of our tractor, let's put a grill. So we're going to put a thick line. I'm going to go out and back in and do that again 2 more times, or 3 total times, like that. And if you want, you could just keep it simple by just drawing a straight line.
It looks like a face. Like
Oh,
the
it does.
eye.
Yeah, it does. It looks like the mouth and the eye.
No, it doesn't.
Now it looks like the mustache and the mouth. And you could draw one more.
It looks like the beard in the mouth.
And the beard in the mouth. Now we're going to draw the wagon or the trailer that has all the hay in it. So we're going to draw a straight line that comes across the top of our wheels. Then we're going to draw a straight line up on both sides. And we want those to be the same size. Yeah, that's good. And then we're going to draw a straight line to connect the top. Good. Okay, now we need to add the details to our trailer. So let's add 2 more lines that go straight across. We're going to make it look like the trailer is made out of wood.
Okay.
So I'm going to draw another one straight across. So it looks like we got 3 sections. All right, now we're going to draw 2 lines down right above the front wheel and 2 lines straight down over the back wheel.
Okay.
All right, cool. Now let's add 4 nails. We're going to draw little circles over the wood so it looks like it's been nailed together.
There.
Awesome. Okay, now let's draw 2 lines to connect the trailer to the tractor. It's looking really awesome.
Yes.
Now we need to put the hay in the trailer. So we're going to draw a zigzag line, and it can be messy.
Because it looks like hay.
It looks like hay.
And hay looks like it's messed up.
Yeah, it does look like it's messed up. Good point. I love your hay. You did a great job on those zigzags, and I love that it looks messy because it looks natural. Now, what is our tractor and our hayride missing?
The people.
Yeah, we need to draw some people.
People.
Some people. So let's draw a circle for the farmer's head. Gotta draw it big. And then I'm going to draw 2 more circles back here for the kids' heads that are in the hay.
The kids' heads.
The kids' heads that are going for a hayride.
Hayrides.
Okay, now let's add the details to our farmer first. I'm going to draw him with a cowboy hat on. So we draw a straight line. We're going to keep it really simple, make him look cartoon. And then we're going to add eyes and a mouth.
He's alive.
Then we can draw a straight line down, and then I'm going to draw a curved line over here. So it looks like he's driving the tractor. And you know what we're missing? We're missing a steering wheel.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to draw a T so it looks like a steering wheel. The side of a steering wheel. Yes. Okay, now we need to add the details to our kids. I'm going to draw a boy. He's going to have a baseball hat on. So we'll draw a line like that. And then I'm going to draw the eyes. I'm going to make him happy too.
Happiness.
If we ever go too fast, what can our friends do?
Pause the video.
Yeah, you guys can always pause the video. All right, you got your face. Then I'm going to draw a body. 2 lines connecting into the hay. And then I'm going to make this one into a girl. I'm going to draw a line straight across for her bangs. Then I'm going to give her eyes and a mouth also. And then I'm going to draw her body. And she needs a little bit longer hair. So I'm going to draw a L line that comes down and connects to her body. And the same thing over here. She's got long hair. But she's missing one thing. We need to draw a bow on her. I'm going to draw the letter M up here on top of her head for a bow. M. Okay, now we need to draw the smoke coming out of the exhaust right here. So I'm going to draw a little popcorn shape. This one's small and this one's medium. And then I'm going to draw a big popcorn shape for the last one.
Woohoo!
Yes, we did it. Good job, Hads. Now we still need to do one last thing, don't we?
Color.
Yes, it's going to look so much better once we color. We're going to fast forward this part, but you guys at home can pause the video at the end to match the same coloring. You ready to fast forward?
Yeah.
Okay, what I'd like to do now is we're going to be switching gears, and I want to show you my drawing, and then I'd like to teach you guys how to add a little bit more to this to make it a really super cool fall drawing. So give me a second. I'm going to switch gears. Okay, now I've switched again. You can actually see what I drew. I was drawing along with you with the Art Hub for Kids. And it's okay if your drawing does not look exactly like Mr. Hub's or his daughter's. Mine's a little different, and if you mess up, you can always change a little bit. Nobody's going to know it unless you sort of point that out. So what I'd like to do now is talk to you about foreground, midground, and background. Foreground, if we're trying to create a landscape, we're trying to create the illusion of distance, of having something in the front, having something in the middle, and having something way back in the back, which we call the background. So the things that are up front, we're going to put them down at the very, very bottom, and it's got to be really, really large. So my thought is, what are you going to see on the hayride? We got kids and the farmer and the tractor and the wagon, but what are you going to see on the hayride? And so I'm going to draw now you don't have to draw what I'm drawing. I'm just trying to give you some ideas. But I'm going to draw like a really, really ginormous pumpkin. And the reason why I draw this pumpkin so large is because it's in what we call the foreground. The foreground is what is actually in front. It's the what is closest to the viewer. And so you can see all kinds of details on the stem. I go around in a swirl. And so that's a ginormous pumpkin, so big you don't even get to see it all. And so I might actually draw a few more pumpkins. And pumpkins are not perfectly round, but you might draw like a stack of them. And so I'm just going to make up maybe one or two more. Might put, they might get a little smaller here. There's the stem. You could put maybe a one back here. So my pumpkins are what we call the foreground. That's in the very, very front. The tractor and the hayride, all of that action is actually what we call the midground. That's what we call the middle of this. And my thought is, we got this line, unless you went all the way across, my tractor is going to fall off. So I need to sort of add something that my tractor can sort of follow. And if I repeat that, I can actually look like they're on a path. And as they come down the hill, you can get to see a little bit more of this path. So now we have foreground, we got midground. Now what is behind the tractor? What's going on back there? So how do you know it's actually fall? Let me teach you how to draw a fall tree. If you remember from last year, great. But if you don't, here's a review. So if I'm going to draw a fall tree with the leaves falling and changing colors at the top, I start off with the number. What number is that? Yeah, it's the number 11. Now, the tree trunk, as it gets taller, it's going to start to split. When it splits, it makes a letter that we know as a V. Now, my number 11 is too short, so I'm going to have to bring it up a little bit. Now, if you notice, I'm drawing really large, and I'm going to probably run out of room, which is really good because I don't have to draw all those little tree branches. I have one limb. The tree trunk is one. Then I have two limbs, and then these limbs are going to split, so I'm going to make more V's. Anytime you want it to split, create a V, create a Y. And then I can V that off again. So anytime you want a tree limb to split, make the letter V. Then you make the outer limbs a little thinner until they get so thin that they just become lines, like that one. Or they go off the page. Then I don't have to worry about them. So I'm making them longer, skinnier, and I add another little V, and I let them go right off the edge. Now, number 11, V's, make the number 11s longer, V's, and you keep repeating that until you run out of room. The next step to fill in the empty spaces is just draw the letter Y. And the more Y's you add, it fills in some of those empty spaces. Now I'm going to come in a few minutes with crayons, and I'm going to add dashes. I put a Y on top of a Y. I'm going to add dashes to make it look like a real fall tree. But right now I'm in the drawing phase. My tree is not connected to the path, and it looks like it's floating. So what I might need to do is add some grass. And then you think about the layers: foreground, midground. Well, what's in the background? What's going to be behind the tree? What if the farm trail runs across an old cemetery? Now that changed the whole dynamics of the hayride, didn't it? Maybe I'm going to draw a little line to represent the hill, but we might start seeing let me go ahead and finish the hill. So I'm drawing, this is again part of the background. So where does the farmer live? No, he doesn't live in a barn, he lives in a farmhouse. So to make an old farmhouse, I'm going to draw the number 11. You can't see some of it because the hands are in the way. I might make a rectangle door. And if the door is open, it's a diagonal in and down doorknob. I could put a big window here since the kids are sort of in the way. So now I'm working on the background and adding as much details as possible. So here's my roof. I got room to add more windows. Maybe it has an upstairs. Maybe the shutters are starting to fall off. That's the things on the side of the windows. I might have room to add another window here. I'll make them a little crooked, because the less perfect it is, the more creepy it's going to look, more old it may look. So I might try to make it not as perfect, not perfect straight lines. The shingles on the top will make a zigzag line. And then if you wanted to put a fence, the fence posts are nothing but little rectangles. And then you add your equals signs. You could put farm animals or a scarecrow behind there. Maybe there's a path that leads from the door down to where the farmer and them are. I can bring the fence, farmers in the way a little bit, but that's what we get for making backgrounds. I could add more tombstones over here. And just to keep adding more and more stuff to the background, what's behind the house? So if it's getting late, I might make a capital C with a smaller c for the moon. I could actually make hills or mountains way back in the back. I can make it look like forest. And then with my crayons, I can really develop the sky to make it sort of look like a Vincent van Gogh drawing. So again, foreground, midground, and the things are behind you in the background. So let me add one more element to it, and let's see what it looks like actually in color. So when you finish drawing, I'd like for you to use your crayons that you have in your box, or markers, whatever you have, and really put in a lot of details into this. So use the rest of the class. Make this fall hayride an adventure. Make it fun. Make it spooky if you want. Make it fall. And you can see how I did with those crayons. And again, I just used green. I used yellows. And all I did was little dashes to make the leaves. And if they're not on the tree, they might be down on the ground. So just have fun with this. I hope you had a good fall break. I hope you enjoyed drawing fall landscapes. Next week we will draw the subject matter of portraits. We'll do portraits next week. So have fun, and I'll be back next week, and I'll see you then.